Snowfield City slept under a quiet blanket of snow, but Sela Morgan's voice lit up the late-night airwaves. "Tonight, 5 special songs, just for you," she said, her smooth, warm tone making every listener feel as if she spoke directly to them. At 28, Sela was the heartbeat of the radio station, host, engineer, interviewer, and music expert. This studio was her second home, where she spent long nights managing requests and keeping her small audience entertained, while supporting her younger sister, Deborah, and carrying the trauma of losing her mother, Elena, a police officer, and her father, Richard, to tragic circumstances. Peter Hale, her 21-year-old intern, approached with a steaming cup of coffee. Loyal, shy, and secretly in love with Sela, he quietly admired her dedication. "Is it still snowing?" he asked. "No, it stopped about an hour ago. Thanks for the coffee," Sela replied, smiling faintly, focusing on her show. She didn't notice Peter's longing gaze, absorbed in her work. As the night progressed, calls poured in, requests, personal stories, and conversations with lonely listeners. One caller, Kate, requested a song for her and her husband. Sela obliged, her warmth and professionalism leaving every listener enchanted. Though she laughed and chatted with her audience, Sela remained mindful of her responsibilities and the life she had built amidst loss. Peter's quiet devotion, her sister Deborah's support, and the joy of connecting with listeners were her anchors in the still, snowy night. Late at night, Sela Morgan's broadcast was interrupted by a chilling call. "You'll thank me for sparing your life," a threatening voice hissed. Sela froze, recognizing the manipulative, obsessive tone. Though she had faced such calls before, the intensity of this one unsettled her. Alone in the studio, she remembered the emergency alarm at her disposal, just a touch away from summoning the city's top police officers. Leaving the studio later, Sela felt the icy wind bite her as she returned home. Deborah, her protective younger sister, awaited her with concern. "What did he say?" Deborah asked. Sela reassured her, but the sense of unease lingered. The caller's repeated harassment gnawed at her, blending fear with frustration. Back at the station the next day, Mark Reynolds, the supportive station manager, appeared. "Sela, these calls can't be ignored. You need a break, or police protection," he urged. Sela hesitated, reluctant to escalate matters, but Mark was insistent. Suddenly, Detective Boyd Carter and his partner Floyd Chase arrived. "We've been informed about threatening calls targeting you," Boyd said, calm yet commanding. Sela explained the pattern, calls escalating over days. Mark confirmed she had recorded the third call for evidence. Sela continued her live show, but tension underlined every word. Boyd reassured her, "We are here to protect you. These calls won't go unanswered." Sela nodded, understanding that help had finally arrived, but the danger had only just begun. Trying to distract herself, she muttered, "You look like some cowboy who just tied a horse outside." Boyd glanced at her. "Is that praise or an insult?" She laughed faintly. For a moment, fear loosened its grip. He dropped her near her apartment, still steady beside her as she walked. Then he held out his hand. "I need your car keys." Sela Morgan stood at the studio console, her soft, melodious voice drifting across Snowfield City. The night's music request program was in full swing, and her listeners felt as if she spoke directly to them. Yet a sudden, chilling call interrupted her calm. "Sela," a distorted voice hissed over the line. She braced herself. "Yes? Who is this?" "No need to know that. You will thank me when I spare your life," the man threatened, his tone dripping with malice. Sela's pulse quickened, but she stayed composed, keeping the studio alarm within reach. Alone in the quiet, she felt a cold twinge of fear. After work, Sela returned home to warm lights and the comforting aroma of hot chocolate. Her sister, Deborah Morgan, had sensed the danger. "He sounded dangerous. Maybe we should call the police," Deborah urged. Sela shook her head. "I pressed the alarm at the studio. Tomorrow we'll see if he calls again." The harassment escalated over the next hour. Each time the sinister caller spoke, Sela's nerves tightened. She recognized the voice's venom, and instinctively she cut off the call. But the memory lingered. Mark Reynolds, the station manager, arrived unexpectedly. "We need to discuss these threatening calls," he said. Sela protested lightly, but soon Detective Boyd Carter and his partner Floyd Chase appeared. "Miss Morgan, these calls have been escalating. We need your cooperation to trace them." Sela, juggling her program, complied. "You have 20 minutes to ask your questions." "Do you know who your enemy is?" Boyd asked. "No, none," she replied. "And do you love someone?" "Detective, that's for you to find out." Boyd insisted she finish her broadcast and come home to rest. Sela agreed, locking the studio behind her, feeling Boyd's protective presence as he followed her to his car. Later, at her apartment, another threatening call arrived. "I want justice. I want to watch you suffer," the caller spat, then ended with crude insults. Sela's hands trembled slightly, but she steadied herself. Boyd arrived with coffee in hand, providing both comfort and reassurance. "Trust me, Sela, nothing will happen to you while I'm here," he said, guiding her through breakfast. Even as they discussed her former acquaintance, Paul Crane, the threats were designed to unnerve her. Boyd's calm presence reassured her, though he couldn't always be by her side. As she prepared for a daytime event, she dressed in a vibrant red outfit, carefully styling her hair and applying light makeup. Yet the memory of the caller lingered. "Let her talk as long as she can," Boyd murmured. Sela confronted the caller with steady courage. "I have never harmed anyone." "Your past actions demand retribution," the voice spat before cutting off. Sela exhaled deeply, glancing at the clock. 1 hour and 10 minutes remained in her broadcast. Her night had been fraught with danger, yet she stood resolute, ready to face whatever came next. Sela switched to the next record, trying to keep her program running smoothly. "Any clue about him?" she asked Boyd. "No, he's using a public booth and wiped his prints. We hit a dead end." Sela sighed. "Then all this is pointless." Boyd shook his head. "Let's not waste time on a fool. There are better things to focus on." Then, unexpectedly, his tone softened. "Actually, there's something else I've been meaning to tell you. I love you, Sela." Sela froze, stunned into silence. "I know it may feel sudden," Boyd continued gently, "but feelings don't wait. Even after a few days, I couldn't stay quiet."
Sela hesitated, unsure what to feel. I don't know," she admitted, though her heart raced with a mix of fear and curiosity. Boyd leaned closer, taking her hand firmly. "Then may I say, I want to marry you?" Sela pulled back, half laughing, half nervous. "Don't joke, this isn't the time." "I'm serious," he said. "I want to spend my life with you, and I'll wait as long as you need. 1 day, 2, maybe a week. But after that, I won't repeat myself. You mustn't compare me with anyone else." Sela shook her head. "I can't promise that. Life brings people along and thoughts come with them." "How many have proposed to you?" he asked. "Many. Dozens," she admitted, exaggerating slightly. Boyd's jaw tightened. "Whatever you say, Sela, I want you to love me as intensely as I love you." She hesitated, recalling the past. "There was someone once, a boy who cared deeply. He sent flowers, poems, even an engagement ring, but I returned it." Boyd's eyes narrowed with curiosity. "What was his name?" Sela's voice faltered. "Paul." Sela recalled Jonas Reed, a former admirer she once misunderstood as a child. "He bothered me for maybe 3 or 4 months, but I've forgotten his face now," she admitted. Boyd urged her to recount everything, how Jonas, a polite man in his early 20s, working in the stock market, used to request songs on her radio program, send poems, and occasionally wait outside her home, though never overstepping boundaries. Once, he even threatened self-harm if she refused to marry him, and sent a ring which she returned. Sela's transfer ended the contact, and she was sure the recent threatening calls were not him. Boyd lit 2 candles to keep her room illuminated, assuring her safety, then left. Sela tried to sleep, but couldn't stop thinking about Boyd. She had never imagined a future together, and despite her inner resistance to love, his presence lingered in her mind. The next morning, Sela leaned over the railing, startled when Boyd gently touched her hair. Their conversation turned personal, her father's disappointment that she joined the police instead of the family business, her sister Deborah managing it successfully, and Boyd's thoughtful concern for her. He invited her inside, leading her to the kitchen where the aroma of freshly brewed coffee enveloped her. Boyd poured 2 cups, suggesting they sit by the fireplace and continue their discussion. Over coffee, Boyd gently asked if she feared going to work, and if she trusted him. Sela confirmed her trust, though she admitted discomfort with his police role. Boyd, sensing her feelings, explained he stayed not just for the investigation, but to understand her and her family's past, especially her mother, Elena, who died in duty, a fact the department treated as routine. Sela reflected quietly by the fire, acknowledging the weight of her mother's sacrifice. Sela took a deep breath and continued. Yes, it's true, the police treat danger as part of the job, but when my mother was shot, it shattered my father. They were already struggling. He wanted separation, and they argued a lot. Their personalities were completely different. And then, the drug mafia targeted him too. He filed a case, but nothing happened. In the end, they killed him. Boyd listened quietly as she sipped her coffee. I spent my whole life waiting for my mother, but she always chose her duty over us. She didn't care about baking cakes or folding our socks. I just wanted her to be available when I needed her. But she wasn't. Not for us. Not for my father. Boyd spoke gently. Maybe she wanted to excel in her career. Sela frowned. Are you comparing me with her? No, he said, raising his eyebrow. But, from what you're telling me, it sounds like you already do. Sela looked into the fire. I had no one depending on me, but she did. People who loved her, who needed her. Yet she gave everything to the uniform. Police officers have no spare time. Their lives aren't normal. Boyd's voice grew softer. Are you afraid that being with me could put my life in danger? This is your life, Sela whispered. I won't force you to change it. I just don't want a relationship. But it's also true that I love you. Boyd stared at her for a long moment. Then he stood, added a log to the fire, and sparks scattered upward. Sela lowered her eyes. Love is a heavy word. We've known each other barely 2 or 3 weeks. Our circumstances don't allow anything like that. I'm tired of these excuses, Boyd said quietly. Just tell me what you feel. I don't know. She lied, even though she knew the truth. But I don't want to fall in love with you, though it could happen. Boyd smiled. That's enough. It means you care, and that's why I asked you to marry me. The fire crackled loudly, glowing red across Boyd's face. Sela felt her breath catch, unable to speak. Soon you'll realize that if you marry anyone, it will be me. Take a day, 2 days, a week, whatever time you need. Sela looked away. I've already made one mistake in my life. I don't want to repeat it. Understand this, Boyd said, his tone slow but firm. You will never have to compete with anyone else. What I feel for you, no one else can. He reached for Sela's hand, but she gently pulled away. Sela stepped back, stars in her eyes, not wanting to escalate the moment. I'm going to the kitchen to make coffee, she said. Pulling on thick socks and a warm housecoat, the chill still seeped through. She loved the kitchen. The golden flames of the stove, the snow outside, and the whistling wind through the trees. Boyd followed her and sat at the table as Sela placed a plate of warm, crispy toast in front of him. She carefully avoided giving him an opening to bring up marriage. "It's strange that a girl like you can cook," Boyd said, spreading butter on his toast. "Most girls can't even boil an egg." "I have no interest in cooking," Sela said, shaking her head. "If I could hire a chef, I would, instead of doing this myself." Boyd just smiled. "After marriage, we could hire a chef, if you like," he teased. "I'm not marrying you," she said, shrugging. "Fine, let's make it a bet." "We're not playing games," Sela snapped. "This is the biggest game in this city," he countered. "Why do men always assume women can't refuse them?" she said. "I'm not making you a fool, Sela. I want to love you, protect you, show you the best side of life," Boyd said earnestly. "I said I'm not marrying, and it shouldn't matter to anyone else." "You will marry me," he said firmly, "because we both know we can't live without each other."
Sela ignored him, pretending not to hear. Suddenly, the phone rang. Sela picked it up quickly. "Now you're playing love games with a cop, just like you promised my brother?" a male voice sneered. "Does he know you're a wandering woman?" "Stop this nonsense. I haven't done anything like that," Sela said firmly. "You should know. His death is hanging over him, and soon it'll be your turn," the caller hissed, before hanging up. Sela's heart raced. The man was dangerous, obsessive. She had to warn Boyd. He needed to know this person could be a real threat. And yet she had to go to work, even with this shadow looming over her. After a long time, Sela went on air reluctantly, counting the minutes until the program ended. Finally, she signed off, glancing through the glass door. The hallway outside was dark. Panic gripped her. If the security lights failed, the alarm wouldn't sound. Her forehead beaded with sweat as she gripped the chair tightly. Unusually, there had been no calls during her program. Boyd was supposed to be nearby, protecting her. But was he really there? Cautiously, she stepped out and froze. A figure loomed in the darkness. Summoning unexpected courage, she called out, "Inspector, where are you? What have you done with him?" A shadow shifted in the faint hallway light. Sela's body trembled. Was this the intruder seeking Boyd? Before she could speak, she realized it was Boyd. "Oh my God, it's you, Boyd. I didn't know you were here. I thought everyone had left," she stammered. Yes, everyone left. He stepped forward and the ceiling light fell on him. He was smiling, but in his hand was a large knife, blade stained with blood. Sela's heart raced. "Boyd!" She froze. "No one can help you now. No one," the figure said. "I've been waiting for this moment when we'd be alone." Sela's fear surged. "What do you mean?" "You killed my brother," he hissed. "No, I didn't. I don't even know him," she gasped, retreating into the booth. Cold terror froze her body. "He loved you," the man said, advancing, the bloodied knife glinting. "You were supposed to marry him. He told me everything." "This is all a misunderstanding," Sela cried, backing away. Her chair wobbled and she nearly fell. "Don't lie to me. He told me everything," he snarled, knife poised. "You made him believe only in you. He was young, inexperienced, and I wanted to protect him." Tears streaked his face as he drew a pistol. "I think this will be better for you." A shot rang out. Sela pressed her hands tightly to her mouth, stifling a scream as the terror of the moment consumed her. Sela had barely finished her radio program when the phone rang. A threatening voice spat venom, claiming she was ruining promises made to my brother and hinting her death was imminent.
Shaken, she knew she had to warn Boyd. The obsessive caller could turn deadly, and she still had duty to perform. Reluctantly, she stepped into the dark hallway after signing off. Fear gripped her, and her hands shook as she gripped the chair. Then, a shadow appeared. At first, she thought it was the intruder. Panic surged as she called out, only to find it was Boyd himself. "Boyd, you're here? I thought everyone had left," she gasped. Yes, everyone left. He stepped forward, and the overhead light revealed a large bloodied knife in his hand. Sela froze. "No one can help you now. I've waited for this moment when we'd be alone," he said, advancing. "You killed my brother," he accused. "I didn't. I don't even know him," she retorted, retreating into the booth. "He loved you. You were supposed to marry him. He told me everything," he growled, knife poised. "This is all a misunderstanding. I never promised him anything," she said, backing away, heart pounding. The chair wobbled, and she nearly fell. "Don't lie to me. He drove him mad, made him believe only in you. He was young, inexperienced, and I had to protect him." Tears in his eyes as he drew a pistol. "I think this will be better for you." A shot rang out. Sela stifled her scream with her hands. Her mind raced as the man lunged. But then she saw Boyd, bloodied but alive, holding the intruder at bay. The attacker fell, his body hitting the floor. Sela rushed to Boyd, frantic. "Boyd, please, stay with me. Don't leave me." Police backup arrived moments later, securing the injured attacker. One officer applied pressure to Boyd's wounds while others restrained the man. I can't lose him," Sela whispered, almost to herself, as the wail of ambulance sirens grew louder. Around her, the hospital waiting room was a blur, silent but filled with distant, haunting echoes of the night's chaos. Hospital staff moved Sela away from Boyd, and she stepped into the cold night air. Someone handed her a warm cup of coffee, bringing brief comfort. Deborah rushed to her side, checking her bandaged hand. Sela's neck wound still hurt, but her thoughts were entirely on Boyd, being wheeled into surgery, bloodied and pale, fighting for his life. Deborah put an arm around her. "You need to rest." "I can't," Sela said. "I keep remembering how he would sit quietly in my booth, protecting me. I tried not to care, but I couldn't." Moments later, the doctor emerged. "He's lucky. If the knife had gone a few inches further, survival would have been unlikely. He's still critical, but stable. We'll move him to ICU soon." Seeing Sela, the doctor recognized her. "Your fan, my son, listens to your show regularly. And you shouldn't drive in your current state. Is there someone who can take you home?" "I won't leave until I see Boyd," Sela insisted. Deborah assured her, "He'll be fine, but you need to stay calm." "I must see him," Sela whispered, her mind heavy with worry. "I might finally have to tell him how I feel. I didn't even know if he would survive." "Always hope for the best, Sela," Deborah encouraged. "Please, don't let him die," Sela cried, nearly in tears. "He'll be fine," Boyd's partner reassured her. "Boyd must survive. Nothing can happen to him," she repeated, panic rising. In the hospital waiting room, Sela felt dizzy, as if faces were spinning around her. Silence dominated the space, broken only by footsteps and elevator sounds. Her mind still echoed with sirens and the chaos of the night. Staff gently moved her near Boyd. Stepping into the cold night air, a warm cup of coffee was handed to her, giving brief comfort. Deborah guided her, checking her bandaged hand and remembering the knife wound on her neck. Pain lingered, but she barely noticed. Her focus was on Boyd, bloodied and pale, being wheeled into surgery, fighting for his life. Deborah put an arm around her. "You need to rest." "I can't. I keep remembering how he would sit in my booth, protecting me. I tried not to care, but I couldn't."
Moments later, the doctor emerged. He's lucky. If the knife had gone a few inches further, survival would have been unlikely. He's still critical, but stable. We'll move him to ICU soon. Seeing Sela, the doctor recognized her. You shouldn't be alone, or drive now. Someone can escort you downstairs. I won't leave until I see Boyd, she insisted. Deborah assured her. He'll be fine, but you need to stay calm. Sela waited outside ICU, watching his staff adjusted machines and monitored him. Finally, she was allowed in, where Boyd lay, hooked to equipment, but peaceful. She touched his hair gently. I'll stay close, as long as they let me, until you wake. She spent the night nearby, visiting him in short intervals. By morning, the hospital buzzed with routine activity. Sela sipped her coffee, waiting. Boyd's family arrived. A tall, older man, a blonde woman, and a young girl. We're his family. The doctor said we could see him, the woman explained. Sela waved them off. I'll wait here. When Boyd's parents emerged, they mentioned he was slowly regaining awareness. Gathering courage, Sela approached. I'm Sela, she said. A nurse beckoned her. Sela walked the corridor with Boyd's sister, Natalie. To the ICU, Boyd's eyes were closed, but he was conscious. Sela placed her hand on his arm. Hello, Boyd. How are you? She asked softly. He opened his eyes. You're safe. No one hurt you. I'm fine, she replied, hiding her own fatigue. I'm feeling better too, Boyd said, holding her hand gently. Sela told Boyd, your sister is here too. Natalie bent and kissed her forehead, blushing. What have you done? She whispered. Seeing you makes me happy, Boyd smiled. Sela, take care of them. Don't let them worry. If you recover, we'll all be fine, his sister added. Have you met Sela? Boyd asked. Yes, she replied curtly. When I'm better, we'll marry immediately, he said. All right, his sister answered reluctantly. I'll rest now. You should go home. I know you've been here all night, Boyd said, closing his eyes. Sela didn't notice her own tears as she walked toward the couch. She covered her face, sobbing, when a soft pat on her shoulder made her hear Natalie's voice. The doctor says they'll move him to a room soon. By noon, he should be out of danger, Natalie reassured her. Thank God, Sela whispered, wiping her tears. Don't tell him I cried. Good, Natalie smiled. After a short silence, Sela asked, Do you want to know how it all happened? Not yet. You need rest. Let me take you home, Natalie offered. No, I'll get a taxi, Sela said. I'll take you in the elevator, Natalie insisted, helping her up. Boyd said you two will marry soon. Yes, he said that, Sela smiled. Sela spent the following week mostly at the hospital. Boyd's room was always busy with friends and relatives, but gradually he recovered. The doctors announced he would soon be discharged, bringing immense joy to Sela. Slowly, she returned to life, resuming her radio booth. When she returned to work, she was reminded of that terrifying night. The attacker with a knife, Boyd covered in blood, staggering towards her. Sela! Hearing her name, she looked up to see Peter with a warm cup of coffee. She smiled gratefully. Thank you. The music ended, and Sela took the mic, noticing Boyd's mother waiting outside the booth. Beautiful and elegant, she smiled at Sela. I hope I'm not disturbing you. Not at all. I'm ordering coffee for you. I'll stay a little while, she said, looking around. I just wanted to say goodbye. You've been missed at the hospital. Yes, now that Boyd is better, it's a relief. He had us all worried, Sela said. Boyd's mother held her wounded hand, almost healed. Life teaches a lot through such experiences, she said. You're right, Sela replied. Boyd told me you two are getting married. Yes, Sela smiled, continuing her recording.
She was now focused on her work, hosting a show and giving out a concert ticket for trivia about the song's writer and music director. Sela started her recording when Boyd's mother spoke up. "So, you two are getting married. If you ever need help, just let us know." Sela nodded, busy handling incoming calls. The fourth call sounded familiar. "Boyd, I'm working," she said. "Yes, I wanted to tell you about the recording," he replied, and explained everything clearly. "Wow, amazing! You've won the concert ticket," Sela announced over the mic. Hearing her voice, Boyd's mother smiled proudly. After playing a few more records, Sela apologized to Boyd's mother. "Sorry I got busy." "No worries. I just hope you both will keep us informed about the wedding. I know he loves you, and you must know that too." Sela hesitated. "I understand your worry because he's in police service and accidents happen. But I know my son. If he intends to marry you, nothing will stop him." Sela smiled, grateful but unable to reply. "I should go. Hope to see you soon," she said. "Of course," Sela replied warmly. After the show ended, Sela walked to her car, fastening her jacket. Her hand paused on the handle. Boyd was sitting on the hood. "The show was great," he said. "But what are you doing here? You're supposed to be in the hospital," she exclaimed, rushing to him. "I climbed over the wall to come here," he admitted. "You're reckless. 2 weeks ago you were in a critical condition. Remember that?" "I've never felt better than now," he said. "Quick, get in the car. You can't sit out in this cold," she scolded. "The hospital isn't exactly private there," he teased. "But listen, I stand by my offer. Do what you must, but I promise, after marriage, Kansa Ma will take care of you." He laughed. "Really?" Sela asked, extending her hand. "Absolutely," he said, taking her hand firmly.